everybody. Okay, make sure it's working. I think it's working. It says it's working on this side, but we gotta make sure it's working on this side. Oh yeah, it is. It's working. Okay, hi. Hi, Daryl Gothers. Thanks for being here. It's good to see you. Now I know most people are still over in Koala's live, but I just didn't want to start super late again. And so we're here. Um, but we could start making a list, I guess. Um, so let me know if there's anything I should put on the list. I know the first thing we need to talk about is 697. Okay, now that I wrote that down, I can actually ask you, like, how are you doing? Happy Saturday. Happy 4-4 portal. That's the other thing we need to talk about. It's the 4-4 portal today. I really wanted to make sure to write down the number of the week for last week because I was I was gonna forget it. So I'm glad I remembered it. Good. I'm glad you're good. Good. I'm glad you're good. Okay. What else do we need to put on here? What else do we need to put on this list? Um, like there was a lot of things that happened in hip hop this week, but most of it I don't really want to talk about because I just don't. Well, because it's more of the same, and so that's I'll leave those conversations to everybody else because the other reactors are much better at it than me. So I'll leave it to them. And I don't know. So I guess let me see. Let me see what I have in my notes for this week. Um yeah. Oh, we could talk about because both T.I. and Damani had music videos come out. And T.I.'s music video is for his song Trauma Bond, which we could talk about here, like what a trauma bond actually is energetically and vibrationally. So we'll put those, I think we could put those together maybe. Here, we'll just put trauma bond here. And then for Damani, it's his Miss Jackson, or some people call it Firebug song that has a video now. But we can see how we can work it into the conversation with Trauma Bond. Okay. What else? And I know yesterday, that was just yesterday. It's so weird because time is going so fast. Like, I can't believe that it's April already. But at the same time, it's like stretched out. So, like, I have to remember if things were yesterday or they seem so far away. So, yesterday, I didn't take any numbers or birthdays or any topics that anybody else had that was outside of hip hop. And so, we can certainly put those on the list for today, too, if we want to. Um, but I think we'll leave the list here for now. And then, as people come in, if they have anything to add, we'll just add it. Sound good? Let me get some water and we could get going. At least I'm not trying to choke myself this week. Last week I don't know what that was, and it wasn't even just about being on live. It was like all the time. Every time I started drinking anything, I started trying to talk at the same time. Jack myself up. Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's start with 697. So for anyone that has not been here before, we at the end of each Saturday live, we roll our wheel that's up there in that left-hand corner. Yeah, you're probably right, Tara. You're probably right. Yeah, I do be getting a little excited about stuff sometimes. But anybody that hasn't been here before, we at the end of each live on Saturday, we spin the wheel up there on the left and we get a random number or vibration to look out for throughout the week. And it's just a good practice to be able to get used to um, being aware of our interactions with vibration and how energy is moving, and how vibrations are around us and how we are impacting those vibrations and energy. So this is just our little like homework practice thing. So last week we got 697, and so 697, when we add this up, let me get my calculator, just make sure, like I can do addition, but I always second guess myself. Yeah, I knew that. It's 22. Hi, Rumpel. It's good to see you. Thanks for being here. So last week we had 697, which goes to the 22 to the 4, and it has a couple of oh, really? That's crazy. I hate it when that happens, when it takes so long to be able to actually get into the chat. That's crazy. But I have noticed that's been happening this week, so I don't know. YouTube. Um, but this actually encompasses a couple of different vibrational stories that we've been seeing for quite a while. One is this story of 11 to 2, where it's recognizing the divisions, the duality, the polarities that are being created, and that we're facing and that are around us, and recognizing those two extremes, or what the extremes are, and going on a new path to be able to end the division, or the duality or the polarization. And here with this 22, we actually have two 11s here together. So it's this story doubled up. We also have this vibrational story that keeps coming up, that is this 97. So 97 adds up to 16. And in the tarot, 16 is the Tower. And so we keep seeing this 16 coming up. Like it's giving warnings that this tower is about to fall, that there are towers around us. There's things that we have thought were stable, things that we've been standing on, and it's not physical things. What some of it could be physical things, but it's also belief systems, it's way of doing things or way of life are now getting shaken up, and it's definitely time for this tower to fall. So it is like a death and a rebirth in a way with this tower, but we're getting these messages to be able to recognize that the tower is going to fall and to start making some adjustments to make sure that we're not in the tower when it falls. And so then we have where this tower energy of 97. So this 97 that's giving us this 16 energy of the tower, it's actually being used to both break up comfort zones. So break up comfort zones that we only got used to because it's just the way that it has been for so very long. And a lot of times it could just be just from, birth. So it's been this way for so long that we've gotten comfortable with things. And these comfort zones need to be broken up so that new comfort zones can come in. That's part of this tower falling away. That when we have this tower moment that happens, when it falls away, now it's opening up space for new foundations, for new interactions and relationships, and new comfort zones, new ways of doing things, new belief systems, and new things to begin to see as normal. Now, we can have comfort zones, and we kind of talked about this already, but we can't have comfort zones that are negative and aren't good for us. And so those we need to recognize so that we can break them up. But all of this comes together to end in this story about building a foundation and creating a new sense of stability. So this vibrational story is really talking about how this tower is coming in and causing a fall. It's causing a breakup, and having to think about and be aware of which of these comfort zones should stop. So what are the things that we've just gotten used to that we should not be comfortable with? And it could be even stuff that it was okay for us to be comfortable with, but they're not going to exist as they have in the same way anymore. And so we need to recognize that. That's what is producing these senses of division here, where it's like, is this a comfort zone that we should keep? Should we not? Is it okay to have this comfort zone, or is it not? And how do we get to a place to end this division? And this place that we get to will bring us new stability. Hi, Ron. Thanks for being here. It's good to see you. So that is our vibration from last week. And then at the end of the live today, we'll spin the wheel again and we'll get a vibration for next week. Okay. I was gonna ask Ron, but I didn't want to distract him too much. Have we ever looked at the vibration of the word candy? I think we did at one point. Is there anything else to put on this list while we're here? Anything else? Any other numbers? Any other dates, birth dates, even hip hop topics? I'm taking everything because we didn't really have a long live yesterday and I didn't take anything to add. Okay. Can't think of anything? Okay. Well, for anybody, just let me know. All right. So let's talk about today. So today is the 4-4 portal. Oh, good. Oh, no, he shouldn't feel bad for missing. We all need to take those mental breaks sometimes, especially when we begin to realize that we are heavily bombarded on a regular basis with a lot of energy, whether it's in the mental sense or the physical sense. It we're hit a lot. And so we all need to have our routines and take our time to be able to regroup. So, no, that's completely understandable. And I'm glad that he's doing that. And I would encourage everybody to make sure to take that time when you need it. Because, nobody can take care of you like you can take care of you. And nobody knows when you really need a break better than you do. So, make sure to take care of yourself. I gotta do the same. I have to remind myself of that also. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I understand. Yes. I understand completely. Well, and we need all of us to be able to be in a good space to really deep dive into these conversations. Um and so it doesn't make sense to stress ourselves out when the timing is just not good. Better to take a break. We'll be here. So let Josh know we miss him so very much. And we'll be excited to have him back and mentally fresh and ready because he has such great ideas. It'll be wonderful to um, have his perspective added to the discussion again. Yeah. Okay, so I haven't gotten done with the April video yet. Hopefully, I'll be able to record it tomorrow, so you'll get it next week. But April has a couple of portal days. So April portals. So every single month has these portal days where they're like these mini portal days where all it really is that the energy is just moving in a way that we can take advantage of how it's moving to help us release things, but also to draw energy in. And we just have to be aware of the kind of energy that it is. And so we just talked about 697 going to 22 and then to 4. And April is our fourth month, well, according to our crazy calendar that we use. And so 4 is all about foundations. Um, so what you stand on, and this can be in all ways. So it's not just physical foundations, but it's the foundations of your thinking. Um, it's the foundations of like your actions, which could be like your morals and your beliefs, would all be those foundational things. It's also the foundation of just who you are in general. So anything that's a foundational thing, anything that brings you stability or that should be contributing to your stability, um, is gonna be in this 4 vibration. Hi, Doc. It's so good to see you. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Oh my gosh. I love that. Thank you, Doc. Not the probe threaten. I love it. So, 4 is everything about stability and foundation. And so, that just means that any of the portals that we have in the month of April are going to be moving in a way that will be able to move a lot of things around our stability. But it also could mean that we could feel less stable in those moments. But this is a good time to be able to recognize that because any of these vibrations, so including 4, are neutral, which means they encompass everything that is positive and that is negative. So it's all of the positive things about foundation and stability, but it's also any of the negative things about foundations or stability, or any of the negative things that you could have within your foundation that really could just be disrupting your stability. So it's the things that add to your stability, that make you feel more stable, that make you feel more secure, that's in that 4 vibration, but it also encompasses anything that disrupts your stability. So today is one of those 4 portal days. So for April, our 4 portal days are today on the 4th. It'll be on the 13th, because 13, 1 and 3 add up to 4. It'll be on the 22nd. And I think that's it. Yeah, April just has 3. So March was the last time that we would have 4. Um, and so on these days, including today, it's a really good time to even just take a moment to check in with yourself. Like we were just talking about, like checking in with yourself and making sure that you're taking care of your mental health and your physical health and your well-being. So these can be times that you just choose to check in. And that's kind of how I use these portals is I say, okay, it's a portal day, so this energy is moving, so let me just check in with myself. How are my foundations feeling? How am I feeling stability wise? Am I feeling good about my stability or am I not? And so that's how you can use some of these portal days where it really is just that the movement of the energy on these days just make it conducive to have a really good interaction with these vibrations. So also if you today think about, oh, what is helping me to feel more stable and secure, or what do I need to get rid of or release so that I can feel more stable and secure, and then plan on the 13th or on the 22nd to do some work in those areas. So that's how you can use these portal days together. Also, if if we, because sometimes when we look at the dates, so like April 4th, and this happens actually more often than I think we realize, we just don't pay attention to it, or at least I don't, is that, so like April 4th, it can be functioning as actually a double 4. So it's actually behaving more like 44 instead of 2 4s separately. Because whenever we have these vibrations that are the same, so this is the same for if we have like an angel number, where the same vibration together, it amplifies those vibrations. It makes them louder. And so we do have an amplification of this 4 energy here as well. But thinking about how 4, again, is all around the vibrations of foundation and stability, that then we can think about how this relates to any words that resonate at this 44. So 44 is the numeric vibration of the word hope. So thinking about hope, we could think about, well, what are the foundations of hope? Like, to really have hope, you have to have some kind of strong conviction, whatever it is. You just have to have something that is anchoring you, so that hope can grow, and so that also you can feel more stable and secure in your hope. That's the same thing with another word that resonates at 44, which is faith. So having faith is the same thing. Regardless of what it is that you have faith in, it's giving you a strong foundation and a sense of stability. Now, everybody can have different things or different people or different beliefs that are at that foundation and bring them stability, and that's what they have faith in. But I think something that we have to learn is that when we go outside of our own foundation and try and tell somebody else what they should or should not have faith in, then we can run into another vibration, another word that resonates at 44, which is karma. So karma happens. Karma is this cycling back of energy. It's the reap what you sow energy. It's what you are putting out into the world is coming back to you. And just like with any of these vibrations, this can be positive or negative. Although we do see karma a lot of the times from a negative perspective, but it is all energy that returns to you at some point. You always have a reap what you sow moment with the energy that you're putting out into the world. And so we have to be very careful about how we question or disrupt other people's foundations and their sense of stability and security. Now, sometimes it's necessary to try and break that up because you can clearly see that they're in a comfort zone that's hurting them. Now, you shouldn't, and we have a bad habit, and when I say we, I mean humans in general, because we have a bad habit of it being easier to see and act outside of ourselves than in ourselves. And I think that's why it's how our bodies work, even, where we see outward, and so then it's harder to be able to see inward and see your contributions to things. But when we put too much of our energy outward and don't recognize when we are trying to break up somebody's foundational sense of security, whether it's what they believe, or what they're doing, um, because it is injuring us, that a lot of the times it's just creating this, what we deem negative karma, coming back to us. Because nobody can break up their foundation or the stability or what they consider to be stable, um, for somebody else. We all have to do it ourselves. And so that brings me to a point that we've talked about before, but I think it's a good time to talk about it again, especially with all the things that are coming up in the world, is that any of these vibrations, that we are encountering, they all happen, together at the same time. So if this line, this squiggly line, because I can't draw straight, is the vibration of 44, then within this vibration, we have hope and we have faith and we have karma. They're all encompassed in here all together. And so when you are interacting with one, you can run into and end up interacting with another one as well. So when you are acting on your faith, you have the potential to then create karma for yourself. And so it is really just us making sure that we're aware. So first, being aware that any of these vibrational, oh my gosh, okay. Stop talking, because I was like talking and trying to move this at the same time and it wasn't working out too well. So we have to start at a place of awareness. And the first thing to be aware of is that all of these, vibrations that we are interacting with, we can see them and interact with them completely different from other people, because it's all based on our perspective. And so perspective changes if you are experiencing this vibration of 44 as hope or as karma or as a combination of the two. And so we have to first be aware, and then from this place of awareness, we can move into intention. Because if what you're doing is with intention, like you fully understand the intention of what you're doing, then you won't be surprised at what you get back. And you can make sure that you are best representing yourself and doing what's best for yourself, and the others around you that you are impacting. Now, this gets a little bit tricky when we start thinking about bigger entities. So it works similarly, but a little bit different, because if we think about like a group of people, so like a family, the interactions within that family all have individual perspectives, but there's also the perspective of the family as a whole. So just as an example, like if a whole family, has grown up in the church and is going to the church, everybody in that family has their individual perspective of what faith is, from going to church. But then there's also the collective family, definition of faith, which would include all those perspectives. So you see, it gets a little bit more complex when we think about bigger groups, and that's just for a family. So thinking about then, if you're thinking about a culture or you're thinking about a whole country or a system, now it's becoming even more complex. So that 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 was a lot more than I had planned to say. But all of that to say that again, on these days like today, where we have these April portals, so we have the April portal today, we'll have another one on the 13th and another one on the 22nd. That these are really good days to think about, to journal about, to work with what are your foundations um, of who you are, of what you do, of what you think, of how you behave, what makes you feel stable and secure, but also what disrupts your stability or your security, and be able to work with those energies and the messages that come from those vibrations so that you can make some adjustments for your life. So, whoa. Again, didn't expect to say all that, but I guess it was an important message. It was probably for all of us and somebody in particular at the same time. So that's the 4-4 portal. If in the chat you have questions or have anything you want to add, let me know. Yes, that's very true, Tarot. It was definitely meant to come out. But that's how it usually is around here, huh? They never really know what's going to be said or what messages are going to come out, but they're all meant for somebody. They're all important in some way. Okay, cool. All right, I'm going to get some water. And while we're on this list, if you've thought of anything that you'd like to add, and again, because I didn't have a very long live yesterday, I will add any numbers or dates to this list. So if you have any of those, if anybody hasn't had their birthday looked at and you want to, we can do that. Just let me know while I drink some water. Not get parched. Gotta keep this energy moving. Oh, we didn't talk about also yesterday, because yesterday's live was so short, that we did on the first. We had the Artemis 2 launched, and that was interesting. I actually looked at those vibrations on my Twitch account. And I think that recording is still up if anybody's interested in that. So that's something that happened this week. And we do have a lot of this energy that's coming from the sun and from the moon. And so in the last, I think it's been like just the last like 10 days, we've had three what would be considered pretty big earthquakes. Two are big because of the magnitude of them, and one is considered big because of the location of it, um in relation to how many earthquakes it gets and all of that. So there's been some stuff happening this week vibrationally and energetically. But I think it's kind of going on a trend. It's a continuous pattern right now at this point. Oh, let's see. Oh, yes! His heavenly birthday. Yes, animals do have life paths. Yes, let's add it. So give me his name and his heavenly birthday, and we will look at his life path number. That'll be fun because I don't think we've done that before. So that's, yeah. But yeah, actually everything, not just living, but everything that's made of energy, which is everything, would have a birth date or like a start date. And so then that means that all of those would also have a life path number where we can look at what is, because the path part, so the 2-digit part of the life path number is really about the movement of the energy, and like the steps that we would take. And then the single digit is like the vibrational contribution to the whole. And everything that's energy and vibration, and this that's taking in energy and vibration and releasing it out and making vibrational connections would have a life path number. So, oh, hi, Drew. Thanks for dropping in. It's good to see you. Okay. Oh my gosh. Let me see. Samson. That's a cute name. So, Samson, and his birthday was 4. Oh, he was born on April Fool's Day. That's so cute. I'm glad he was a dog. um, 2004. Okay. Well, we can look at 2004 and you can see if those life path numbers make sense, like if it feels right. And if it doesn't, just let me know and we can explore what it might be instead. Because that happens too. Oh, I love that. Okay, well, let's look at Samson's numbers then. Let's look at Samson. Oh my gosh. And I can just feel like how much, oh, love. All right, so let's look at Samson the dog. So we're going to do, I'll put here for anybody that comes in that we're going to do, this is going to be a dog life path and name. So that people know, because they, like, the vibrations themselves do not, like, they don't discriminate if it's a dog or a person. Like, they're neutral, so they come through how they're meant to come through. And so a lot of the times these vibrational readings for an animal can be very, very similar and sound very similar to people. So we have, we'll put Samson. And I spell that right? Okay, yeah, I didn't want to put a P in there if there wasn't one in there. Okay, so we have Samson, but I'm also gonna put up here, um, Little Fool, because that just is so cute. Okay, thank you. I don't want to make a mistake. Okay, and then for the birthday is April 1st, 2004. So let's start with his name. And so um to get the vibration of any name, we use our little code book where A equals 1 all the way to Z equals 26. Oh, before we start this, for anybody that didn't hear the announcement yesterday, I did start a Vibrant Numerals Patreon and Discord. And on the first level of Patreon, which is like $1, you can get a guide on how to do all of your numerology calculations, including how I do these calculations for vibrational readings. And then on the second level, I think it's the second level. Yeah, the second level, you could get a huge guide that I put together that shows you how to look at your numerology, your astrology, and it gives you spaces to like take notes during lives or ask questions. I think it's pretty cool. So if you're interested in even just checking it out, in that link that's pinned to the top, that's my link tree, and Patreon is now active in there. So, okay. Oh, hi, Just Me. Hello. Thanks for being here. It's good to see you. All right, so let's get back to Samson here. So for Samson, his name is going to be 19 plus 1 plus 13 plus 19 plus 15 plus 14. And to not stress out my brain, we'll just whip out the calculator. Even though it's like not hard to add, but why? Why do it when you don't have to? And so Samson adds up to 81. And so we'll put a box around that because we're going to interpret all of this together. And then let's go ahead and look at Little Fool also, since he was born on April Fool's Day. We'll look at his little nickname. So Little, T-T-L-E, yep. Okay. Little is 78. And then Fool is 48. Oh, that's why. Okay. So sometimes the universe just has me do things and I don't know why until later. So I couldn't figure out why I was supposed to look at these two words separately. And it's because we can already see here that we are getting quite a few 8 vibrations. So we have 8 here twice, 78, and then also 48. And so that's where it was important to be able to see the 8 and then the 81 also. So then 78 plus 48 is 126. That's cute. And we'll put a little box around that. And then for the birth date, so to do the life path number, around here, I was trying to say it without sounding too country, so hopefully I was successful. But what we like to look at is we don't reduce anything all the way to single digits until the very end. And it's because for vibrational readings, it's important to be able to get all of the steps, all of the pieces to the vibrational story. So your single digit life path number, like if you looked up and asked, for your life path number from any of these calculators, it typically will just give you a single digit life path number. That single digit life path number is your vibrational contribution throughout your lifetime to the whole, like to the collective. It's what you vibrationally are bringing as you are living your life and as you're moving through your life. But the 2-digit life path number that we get, and there are people that only have the single digit, but they can still get this path information. But the 2-digit is typically the path. It gives you the path, the steps that you have to take. So you're walking along this actual path to contribute that vibration, that single digit. And so that's why the calculations here are a little bit different than you might see somewhere else. And so here for Samson, we first add up the digits of the year. And so then that gives us 6. Hi, Judy! Thanks for being here. It's good to see you. And then we take that 6 and we add it to the 4 for April, and then the 1 for the 1st, and then we get a 6 here, and we add that up and we get 11. So Samson's life path number is 11. All right, so let's look at these together, because these together are what give us some good information. And how we're going to do this so this is a good example, not just for a dog, but this actually is a good example of really for all of us. And so, so your life path number is 29? Wow. So you're an 11 also. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, it's getting super interesting. So typically what you would do is you use the given name. So Samson plus, which is 81, plus the life path number, which here is 11. And so 81 plus 11 gives us 92. Oh, and see, now this is even more interesting. But what happens a lot of times is like we have nicknames, and especially if we have nicknames that it's like you use your government name, your official name, like in work settings or like professional settings, but then like with family, you use the nickname. So both of those names are actually going to resonate really strongly. And so what you would want to do is you use the name for the space that you want to look at how your vibrations are interacting in that space. So if you're looking at like how your vibrations are interacting with like your coworkers or the work that you're doing, then you would use more of that formal name. But if you want to look at just like your everyday life or your family life, then you could use your nickname. But let's also bring down here. So if we look at Little Fool, which is 126, plus the 11 of the life path number, we get 137. And then if we add 81 to this, then we get 218. So what we want to see is that there are a ton of 11s here. So we have 92 that goes to 11 and goes to a 2. We have just the life path number itself is an 11. Here, when we're doing the nickname with the life path number, the 137 is an 11. And then also this 218, when we have both the name and the nickname and the life path number together, is again an 11 to 2. So a lot of this 11 to 2 story. And, So what this means is that sweet, oh, sweet Samson in your life, and like I'm feeling like I'm trying not to cry because I know it's not my tears, but um I'm feeling like the recognition of what this all means to you, and for him. And basically, what this is saying is that whew, Samson was an expert in recognizing when there was division or when there was duality or when there was polarity, and knowing when to be able to step in and help end that division. So it seems that Samson was like very much would insert his energy in to really help in times of like division. So when it felt like there were extremes against you or things were happening against you, that his energy really helped with that. And knowing that your life path number is 2911, we have a very interesting thing happening here also, where your life path number of 29 is a mirror image of Samson, his name, with his life path number of 92. Which means that in Samson, you could see the reflections that you needed to see for the lessons you were needing to learn, or to see things from a different perspective. That just having his energy around was helping you to see things from a different perspective, to shift things in a way to end the division within. So because you're this 11 vibration also with your life path number, it really is saying that you feel, and because you recognize those divisions, that duality, so much stronger than somebody else would, you feel those more drastically. And Samson's energy was here. Oh, don't say you're gonna cry, because I can feel it and I'm trying not to. But he would come in and help you to rebalance that. We can also look at, and you can do this with your pets, but also with people, anybody that you interact with. You can look at how your life path numbers interact with each other. So if we take your life path number tarot and we add it to Samson's life path number, we actually get 40. And okay, this is really going to make me cry, because your life path numbers, when you add them together, it's how your vibrations work together. It's how your vibrations work together. It like defines the relationship and the bond between. And we just were talking about, because it's the 4-4 portal, how this 4 is all about stability and foundation and creating a sense of security. And so when your vibration and Samson's vibration of 11 came together, it was creating not just this sense of stability and security, or bringing you stability and security, but it also was enhanced, and it was basically like it was enhanced and supported by this vibration of 0, which is the vibration of God, universe, higher power. So your energies together, yours with Samson, because he was coming in and he was like balancing your energy out because of that 92 with your 29, that mirror image there. And also because you both understood this vibration of 11 so well, he was probably giving you a lot of sense of stability and security. So whenever you did not feel stable or secure, um, Samson would have been there to be able to do that for you. And he's still there. He's still around. Very much tied. Like you don't this is a soul tie. Like you don't see that very often. Between, like, we get very attached to our pets and the animals around us because they are family. But with any bond, whether it's with an animal or a pet or with another person, the bond, so when you have one that is still here earthbound and one that is not, the bond typically changes. The interaction between that energy actually changes. That's probably all I'll say about that because it's hard to explain. But it usually changes. But there are times when that bond is so strong it doesn't change. Where it still resonates the same. Because if you think about it, like if you believe in reincarnation, every time you're coming back, you're getting a new birthday and a new name. And so you're contributing a new vibration to the world. But when you have bonds like this that are super strong, there's still like that residual vibration there. There's still like a residual energy there that remains. So it's true when people say that your loved ones, whether your pets or people, are still with you. You still do have that bond. It just works a little bit different. Thank you so much for sharing this with us, Tarot Gothis. I really appreciate that. So, oh my gosh, don't tell me you're wiping your tears because it made me cry. But this is you and Samson had a very beautiful vibrational bond that I'm sure not just you felt, but other people could strongly feel. Like, yeah, this was very special relationship. And so for anybody else, you can get these life path numbers and these name vibrations for your pets. And you can look at how their vibrations work with you. Oh, you're very welcome. Yeah, okay, good. Sometimes you just need a good cry. Well, and a lot of times your tears are just it's just a movement of energy, which is a good thing. So, may all our cries be happy cries from now on. I liked that. Okay, I'm going to put a box around it because I don't know, it feels wrong to like put it strike through. So we're not going to do that. Okay, anybody else have anything to add while we're here on this list? Because we have one more thing left. We're gonna look at Ti's trauma bond because he just did that video. Yeah, I could take your numbers, Judy, because we didn't have time to do it yesterday. I'll get some water. Well, you see how you can put them in the chat. Oh no, Josh isn't here. We had that discussion earlier, so hopefully we can see them. I'm looking back at the chat. Mm. Yeah, maybe they should work. They might work for Rumple. I don't know. Have we had Rumple put them in here before? Let's try it. Okay, so while you're trying that, I will start talking about um this Trauma Bond music video. Mm-hmm. Okay. So I'm gonna put number 5 down here. I'm gonna put all the numbers. So we don't forget to put them there. Well, I don't forget to put them there. It's okay. I can accept that responsibility. Okay. So we had a lot going on this week in hip hop. Um, but most of it, I just be honest, I don't really feel like talking about. I don't really feel like talking about where so a lot of times when it's these same well, it's the same probably for all of us. When you keep hearing the same thing over and over again, at some point it starts getting boring. That happens quicker for me um with the vibrations, because what it's kind of like is if there's a big huge tapestry and you find a red thread, and you start going and following the thread because it's interesting. It's like the one red thread. So you're following it, following it, following it, but then you get to a part of the tapestry where everything's red. Now it's not as interesting anymore, because it was interesting because it stood out. So that's kind of, and it's not that this stuff isn't important. It's just that the the vibrational story isn't really changing. We know that hip hop is in this very dramatic shift, that there's a lot vibrationally that's happening, but it's almost like hip hop is, I don't know, lucky or unlucky to be having kind of a vibrational pause right now, where it's kind of like there's not a whole lot new that's happening, and what new is happening, it's more of a similar vibration, not the same story, but the same vibration. And it's just because that's what needs to be contributed right now to get to this shift. But one thing that was very interesting is that T.I. on his most recent album has a song called Trauma Bond, and he did come out with a music video this week. So I thought it would be interesting for us to talk about. So we have talked about before how with any kind of art form, we'll just put it here, art. So with any kind of art form, um what you are doing, so it doesn't matter if it's music, if it's visuals, if it's photography, if it's painting, if it's writing, it doesn't matter. But what art is it is a expression of a vibrational story. And so when we have songs that it's telling the vibrational story one way in the music, and then it's also telling the vibrational story in another way with the video. now we're getting like intertwining of these vibrational stories. And so it's making the vibrational story that's being told by this song, regardless of the topic of the song, but it's making it more vibrationally complex. And when it's more vibrationally complex, then it's more vibrationally interesting. And so it connects with people in different ways. Where now you could be connected to this vibrational story through this music. And music already has a lot of vibrations in it because we have the lyrics itself. Oh, hi! It's so good to see you. Thank you for being here. I hope you are well. So, with music itself, it's already pretty complex and layered. Um, where you have the lyrics in there, you also have just like the track itself, like the beat and the use of instruments itself are contributing to a vibration. Um, oh no, we can't see the numbers, Judy. Oh man. Okay. Well, maybe save them or send them to me and we can put them with next week's um numbers. Oh, that sucks. Stupid YouTube. Rude. Okay, okay. Sorry, I got distracted. But that sucks. Because I was trying to think if there was another way, but I don't know. Yeah. Okay, we'll do that unless you could find another way to be able to get them on here. Okay, so but this music um includes these lyrics, the vibrations of the lyrics, it's the track, and then the vibrations of the artist itself. And this is pretty true for any kind of art form. Um, where it's these layers. So even if we're like thinking about like a painting, um the painting will have the vibrations of whatever it's depicting, but also it's the vibrations like of the colors chosen. It has the vibrations of like the artist it's themselves. um and painting is interesting because painting, like for paintings, I can actually see more of the vibrations of time in paintings of like how long it, because over time we are adding to um our experiences, which add to our vibration. And when we're producing anything like art, um, all those experiences that have come in between um, or during the time of making that artwork, you can see it. And that would be true for any art form. But I've just noticed with paintings, I can see it much more clear. Like I can see more clearly when something has taken longer or if it's encompassing more than one experience. So, okay, sidetracked. So, when we have these music videos that come out, it's now taking what we have vibrationally from the music itself and it's weaving with the vibrations of um, that are being produced by the video. And so it's creating a more complex vibrational story. So whether it's like, so like this music video is pretty straightforward. It's not like some of the music videos that we've seen prior, like from Baby Keem, um, or from Clips or Kendrick Lamar or even Tyler the Creator, where they have a lot of symbolism in there because all the symbolism is adding vibrationally to them. It's adding to that vibrational story, like what you're seeing. So all the way from something really complex like those videos that where we're used to looking for the Easter eggs and picking up those hints, all the way to something that's more simple, where it's literally just giving you a visual that aligns and matches up um, with the music that is in it includes. It's still creating a more complex vibrational story, which makes it more interesting. And sometimes when those things don't align, um, it could either become really interesting or really frustrating. I was trying to think of what music video, maybe you all have an example of like a music video where it's like this does not match with this song at all and it like messes you up. You know what it happens? It happens when like you've read a book and you've created the visual in your head based off of the words on the page and reading the book, or even listening to an audiobook, but then they come out with the movie and you're like, ew, this is not right, this is not right. Similar thing here, that it's creating this complexity, and that complexity can be used in a number of ways. It can be used to draw you in, to be looking for the connections and the understanding, but it also could frustrate you because if there's not enough of the connections there, then it becomes too personal to the artist themselves and nobody else can connect with it. Okay, so another side tangent. My bad. So we're looking at this music video from T.I. And we already saw when his album came out that we have, so he now goes by T.I. But he has also gone by Tip. And we have seen, when we are looking at the vibrations of him with his new album, that really all of this is really closer to the vibration of Tip. Tip makes more sense vibrationally with the vibrational stories that are being told. It makes more sense. And Tip is 45. He's not 45. He's older than 45. But the vibration of his artist name is 45, which is a 9. And his birthday, so his life path number don't laugh at me. He's old. Older. Actually, he might be 45. I might be making him older than I think he is. Actually, I think he is 45. I think he is 45. So I made him old. Oh my gosh, that's funny. Anyway, his life path number is 52. And so then with his name, his artist name, and his life path number together, he this resonates at 97. Now we just saw this 97 in our vibration of the week in 697, and we talked about it where this 97 adds up to 16, which is the vibration in tarot of the Tower. So his vibrations are tying in, and he is adding to this vibrational story of the Tower, that the foundations of things, the way that things are getting shaken up and changed, and it's time to be aware that this tower is going to fall. So even though like this most of the album that T.I. has put out is really upbeat, and it is vibrationally contributing to this story. So it's like part of the story where it's like, okay, recognize that this tower is going to fall, but hey, it's a good time out here too. Come on, come outside, come out of the tower, move away from the tower, it's about to fall. So that's really interesting that he has those vibrations there. Okay. Thank you, Rumple, for putting those in. I appreciate it. When we go back over to the list, or I can actually add them. After we're done here, I'll just move to a clean page and add them. Because those are the last things we'll have before doing our spinning our wheel. Okay. So we already have right now this story of the tower coming through. And so then let's look at just the name of the song. So Trauma Bond. Oh my gosh, Rumble. I think what's funniest is that I'm not all the time trying to be funny. But I do make myself laugh a lot. So that's got to count for something. All right. So, this is actually pretty fitting that you would have this name of this song be Trauma Bond, like right now in this moment. If that's not a signal that, hello, there's kind of something wrong here. We got to think about these things. This tower is going to fall. I don't know what it is. But if we use our little code, so A equals 1 all the way to Z equals 26, go sign up for Patreon, the Vibrant Numerals Patreon, because there are guidebooks in there that help you to do these calculations. Okay, if we use our code book, then trauma resonates at a 74. And so this is interesting in that a couple of things. So when we think about trauma, what it's doing vibrationally is it is first disrupting. Hey, this is a color I used already. I need a different color. It's first disrupting the foundations of things. So it's looking for the cracks in the foundations, or it's creating the cracks in the foundations, and it's the testing of these foundations. So trauma can be used both to break up foundations, the way that we think, the way that things are done, in both positive and negative ways. So we typically see it as from the perspective of a negative thing, that it can break up our sense of security and our stability. But it also, when we begin to heal from the trauma, is when we can begin to see what parts of our foundation are because of the trauma. So, for example, if you've had childhood trauma and you haven't ever defined love in a different way, then it's going to take you to actually start looking at your definition of love, which would be considered a foundation of who you are and your interactions with other people, to understand what parts of those definitions are because of your own trauma, and pull those out. Pull them out of the foundation. Get it out of there, because those pieces can, instead of having your foundation be really strong, like a stone or concrete, trauma within your foundation is what can make it sand, and like building on sand. So, first, trauma is this interaction with the foundation of who you are, and then it impacts the actions that you take. Because 7 is action in flow. So it can change how you're connecting with the vibrational flow of yourself, of energy around you, and of other people. So it can actually change your actions. It changes what you see as the right time and in the right way, because that's the flow. It's changing what you're actually hearing or not hearing from your most intuitive self. Trauma also is one of these 11 too. So trauma is what can create division, but it also can help you see where the divisions are, where there's dualism or where there's polarization. And by recognizing that, by seeing where those divisions are, by recognizing where there's the dualism or polarization, then you're able to work to end it. Also, trauma 74 is also the numerical vibration of the word energy. So trauma and energy move in the same way. And so that's another reason why we need to get out of seeing trauma as all negative. Because just like energy, it's everywhere and it's part of everything. I know that sounds like horrible when we think about it in only negative terms. But that's kind of how things are made, is made from energy, and trauma is part of that making of energy. Now, the word bond, we'll put this up here, is 35, which goes to an 8, which is the reap what you sow energy, the energy coming back around. So a bond, an energetic bond, a vibrational bond, whether it's with another person, whether it's with an environment or a group, or even just the earth and the universe itself, it is this back and forth energetic exchange. It's the energy going out and coming back in. And kind of interesting, I don't know if you'll find it interesting, I think it's interesting, is that the word to, just T-O, also resonates at 35. So trauma bond, which adds up. So 74 plus 35 adds up to 109. 109 also is 2. Oh, we don't want to use that again. Here, we'll use this. Boop, boop. Okay. 2 energy. So it's this movement to the energy. Oh, thank you, Judy. I just saw your comment. I like to think I'm naturally funny. I like to think I'm funny all the time. And so, trauma bond and movement to the energy is encompassed within this 109, which is also a very interesting vibration, because we have here the end and the beginning in one vibration. And it's separated here by this vibration of God or universe or higher power. And so this God universe energy is basically saying the end is necessary as a first step, but it is being diminished. Don't worry about it as much. Yes, ending these cycles and ending this energy is important, but don't worry about that as much as the new energy that'll come from it. And because this is just a pure vibration, it is neutral. So it encompasses everything and all of the perspectives that are positive and negative. And so then that takes us to a 10-1. So kind of interesting vibrations here. So then what we can do is we can look at the vibrational story. So how the artist and the title of the song are contributing to the vibrations that are being sent out and shared through this music video. So if we take T.I.'s 97, which is Tip plus his life path number of 52, and we add it to the trauma bond title, now we get 206. Yes. Which is an 8. And so, again, it's this energy, this karmic, reap what you sow energy coming back around. Reap what you sow, karma. And so it's interesting to see, because if you listen to the lyrics of the song, so if you like the song, love the song, just love the song. Like, it's a classic, like, T.I. banger where it just, I love it. It's really good. I listened to it so many times. But when you really listen to and take in the lyrics, you can see and hear, you hear all of these reap what you sow energies coming around. And the form of, he's talking about his family and his connection to family and what he'll do for family and what family does for him. But he's describing that connection to family as a trauma bond. And so it's interesting to see and hear. And then in the music video, there are a lot of parts of the music video that are like they're in now current time, where it's not like his children are young, it's current day, but the visuals are very much aligned with what you would typically see in like music videos in the 90s and early 2000s. and like the use of the marching bands, and those are more of these older energies coming back around. So kind of cool and interesting. So I think that's all I have for that. But I do think that we should at some point, doesn't feel like today because that message isn't coming through very strongly, but we should talk more about what a trauma bond is. So just generally, um a trauma bond is like any kind of vibrational bond where it's a connection between vibrational beings. It's an energetic exchange. But in this case, it's the energy that's being used to create the bond is from a traumatic place or from a shared traumatic experience. So, okay. we will talk about that more another time because we don't need to go that deep today. At least that's what the universe is saying. Like, nope, not today. We'll talk about it another time. Okay, so let me get some water and get a space, and then I'll grab these numbers from Judy. Thank you, Judy. I'm so glad. Thank you, Rumpel, for bringing those in. I'm glad we got them. Mm. Mm. Interesting. You got that 74 coming up in your numbers. I'm just looking at them. I haven't written them yet. Well, of course, you could see I haven't written them yet. Duh. Mm-hmm. Okay. So let's look at these vibrations that have come up this week. So 133 754 5474 194 and 215. Okay, cool. So these two definitely go together. They're actually moving and behaving very similarly. So we'll talk about those together. Um this one, I think it looks so familiar, so I think I may have seen it also this week. Flip through real quick. I'll only go back a couple pages because I'll be writing way too much. I fill up like one of these journal books like every month. And it's mostly just like numbers looking all crazy. I can't show anybody my notebooks. This looks crazy. Just a page of numbers. Okay, I must not have seen it this week, or it was earlier this week, or maybe it was last week. Um. Oh, nope, I found it. And you're gonna laugh, Judy. You're gonna laugh. Okay, so let's start with 194. Just because I just found it. Uh, and it's related to one of the topics that I didn't want to talk about. That I was like refusing to talk about. I was easy to talk about. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we heard this week in hip hop about Pooh Shiesty kidnapping kidnapping Gucci Mane and his diabolical plan going awry. Don't be sorry. The universe got jokes all the time. I'm thinking I'm not gonna talk about it, and here we are talking about it. But the first time I really heard about it and was with was with Koala T Reacts was talking about this story, and in the chat, um and Koala himself kept saying that the story and the whole thing, like, the more you went through it, it just kept getting stupider and stupider when we use our little code of A equals 1 all the way to Z equals 26, resonates at 194. Which is kind of hilarious. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I think Ruppel's punishment may be appropriate at this time. Because also, why this? Like, why this phrase? Like, there's nothing else. Nothing else that equals that. Oh my gosh. But oh, okay, now I got the giggles. So let me see if I can actually break this down, because I got the giggles. Okay. Oh my gosh, it's funny. Okay. Okay, wait. Oh my god, I can't stop laughing. Okay. Okay. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. I got the giggles. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh, talk about it, not because it was a bad thing. Because this is what I knew would happen. Because if you haven't heard the story, you go have to go listen to it on your own. Because oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It's just so stupid. It's so dumb. People are so stupid. Oh my gosh, okay. 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 I know, Judy. I was scared too. I was gonna choke, but I needed to cough. I needed to stop the laughing. Okay. Oh wow. Okay. Oh. Oh my gosh. I know. I know, Tara. I thought I was gonna choke too, but I didn't. Okay. It's gonna start again. It's gonna start again. I know it. Because. Okay. Alright. Here we go. Okay. Let me see if I can say this with a straight face. Oh Lord. Oh man. Okay. Oh, okay. Oh wow. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh, wow. Oh my gosh. Okay. Hmm. Okay. All right. Okay. 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 I'm trying to say this with a straight face, but this is gonna make me laugh again. Because 94 keeps coming up this week. Whew. And it gets us to a 13. Yeah, they real dumb. And 13 is the energy of transformation. But it keeps coming up this week because 94, oh gosh, is the numeric vibration of the planet Uranus. Okay. Okay. I'm not gonna say the other part that I usually say because it's gonna make me laugh. Oh Lord. Okay. Oh wow. Oh my gosh. I know. I keep having to start over. Okay, I got it. I got it. I am the pinnacle of professionalism. I'm not gonna laugh. Okay, but yeah. All right, we got through that. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh. So, the planet of Uranus is saying a transformation needs to happen. Oh my gosh. Because something new needs to come in here. You need to be in a new place. You need to not do what you did. You need to not do the old stuff anymore. Let the new stuff come in. Woo-wee! Oh my gosh. That was a good laugh, but now I'm like lightheaded. That was crazy. Oh my gosh, Rumpel, don't do it. Don't do it. I can't look at your comment. It's gonna happen again. It's gonna happen again. Like, oh my gosh. People are so dumb. Oh my gosh. Okay. So, 194. We have again this energy of the 4. So, the vibrations and energy coming in and disrupting the stability of things. And if you're stupid, you don't have a lot of mental stability. Or maybe your mental stability is contributing to you doing stupid things. Okay, okay. It's messing up the stability. And it's really necessary for you to end the cycles that you are completing. So, fathers, do not teach your sons bad behavior. Do not teach your sons bad behavior. It's important to not let these cycles continue. Oh my gosh. Woo! So that new cycles or new ways of doing things can come in. Okay. Okay, great. Okay, that I can't do anymore because I'm not gonna be able to hold it back. If I talk anymore, anybody that has not heard the story of Pooh Shiesty and Gucci Mane, you gonna have to go look it yourself, and then you'll fully understand. Okay, okay, done. Woohoo! All right, 194. Oh my gosh, why did it have to be that? Oh, see, that was just rude. That was rude. Oh my gosh, right? I know! I was trying not to make that association with Pooh, Rumble. That's why I was laughing. Also, oh my gosh. Okay, stop. Okay, we're marking it off. We're done with 194. We're not talking about that anymore. No more. No, I know it's his name. I know it's his name. Can't. I can't. Oh my gosh. Oh, oh man. Oh man. Mm, 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 mm. Oh Lord. Oh man. Okay. Oh my gosh. Rumble, stop. Oh my god. I forgot. My gosh. You gonna have me cracking up again. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna die. Don't do that to me. Okay. All right, we're going on to something else. Let's find something more serious. We're going to get serious again. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. So, we are going to go, let's look at 1333. Oh no, it's that 13 again. I'm going to have to talk about transformation. We just talked about transformation. It's okay. It's all right. We go talk about it in a serious way this time because we're serious. We are so serious. Vibrations and energy and healing is very serious, people. So serious. Oh my gosh. I sound like the who's the drunk guy on The Simpsons? That's what I just sounded like. Okay. Stop. Okay. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay. All right. So we have, oh my gosh, 1333. So we first have all of these threes that are here working together, and they're amplifying this vibration, this energy of growth. But it's not just any growth, because we have the 13 here. So it's growth into a full transformation, where transformation is like the biggest change you can make. It's like a change that you cannot come back from. And what's interesting here also is that we've looked at 333 and 333 again. Oh yeah, his name is Barney. Oh my gosh, stop. It didn't sound like Barney. That's hilarious. Um we've looked at this before, and the one phrase that comes up quite often for 333, which is relevant to not our last topic of discussion, but the one before with trauma bond, the serious one. 333 is the numeric vibration of systemic oppression trauma. So the trauma caused by a oppressive system resonates at this 333. But here, because we have this one, it's this vibration, this amplified vibration of 3 that is making this one like supercharged. It's like supercharging this new energy. And it's taking us from the 9 of the 333 to a 10. So we're getting to this vibration where we have God, universe, supporting and enhancing the new energy that's coming into the space. So we have this highly amplified, highly charged vibration of 333 that is really pushing for a transformation to happen, to take place in order for something new to come in. It very much feels like this is aligned with all of our discussion of like the tower. So we don't have the 16 here, but it does feel like that. It feels like this is a change that would feel very much like the tower. Like the tower is falling, like a whole foundational piece is falling away. And I do have a video. I think it's a clip actually from a live that we had before where we talked about 333 and then 333. That would be a good one to go back and watch, because this was really talking about how this three was coming about and how it was being used vibrationally and the story that it had to tell, and also how it related to this very powerful vibration of 369. Let's see, we have 369 here, we have 369 here, and we have 369 here. Where 369 is a very powerful vibration that we use in our manifestation. It's actually Tesla's favorite, not Tesla the company, but Tesla, the actual scientist Tesla. It's the vibrations that he used to really bring together a lot of his thinking around his inventions. So, pretty powerful. Okay, now that I'm not calm. Like, I could still feel me laughing way too hard on the inside. But I think, oh my gosh, I said but. Now we can, let's see, what should we look at next? Let's look at this 215 real quick right here, because this just feels like a very short vibrational message where this is just bringing in this story. It's saying, hey, there's a change that needs to happen. And this change is really important and related to a choice that you have to make. And this choice that you have to make is between, are you going to be in bondage to the choice that you make, or are you going to be freed by it? So it's a choice between bondage and freedom. But the choice isn't actually bondage or freedom. The choice is whatever you're choosing. You could either be in bondage to that choice, or it could free you by that choice. So hopefully that makes sense. But whatever this change is that's coming in, it's putting you in a position where you're really having to make this choice. And this choice can either make you feel free, or it can make you feel in bondage. And so you have to be aware of that. But either way, we get to an ending of a division. So this choice needs to be made with the understanding that it could put you in bondage or it could free you, but it's necessary so that you can end the division. And the ending of that division now creates a new cycle. So this is that cycling energy. It's that reap what you sow energy. But here, what it's feeling like is based on this change and this choice. This could either be a brand new cycle, a new way of doing things, a new way of thinking, a new life, or it could be the reap what you sow energy and having the old energy come back around to you. And that might actually be what that bondage or freedom is. Would you be placed in a position of bondage, or would you be freed by a new cycle or by an old cycle? And those cycles are ways of thinking, or ways of doing things, repeat patterns of like what's happened in our lives. Okay. All right. So let's look at this last set. Okay. All right. I think I got all my giggles out. But I'll be laughing later. I laugh so much all throughout the day. And it's really funny because most of the time I'm just laughing by myself. And at myself. I make the best jokes. Just saying. I do. Okay. So I said that these are really behaving very similarly to each other. And it's the way that these vibrations move. So vibrations always have what their vibration is, but then also how they move and how they weave together. And sometimes the movement is the weaving, and sometimes they're separate. So that's how I'm seeing a lot of these vibrations. And so what's happening here is we have I don't know if I can draw it. Can I draw it? Because it's kind of like where we've seen where we have like the triangle interactions. But there's, in this case, there's no connection between the 7 and the 5. And so the way this is moving is it's moving either as 54 or as 74, like this. So whatever this change is, because the 5 is all about change and the 7 is action in flow. So the right action at the right time in the right way. Both of these are only interacting with the 4 of foundation and stability, which we've been talking about. I guess that's the theme today since it's the 4-4 portal. They're only interacting with this foundation or stability energy. They're not really interacting with each other. And you don't see this very often. So how they are weaving around, it really is like, it's almost like they are, if they were both magnets and they're same side, so like both the positive charges on a magnet were facing each other, and so they're pushing each other apart. But the 4 is the negative side, so they want to go towards the 4 but push each other apart. That's kind of what it's looking like. And so 54 is the numeric vibration of the word love. And we already saw 74 is the numeric vibration of trauma and also energy. But what this is looking like is that it's this it's this interesting dynamic between love and trauma. And And we see this quite often where you receive the most trauma from those that you love or that love you or that are supposed to love you. And this weird definition of love can cause this trauma. And so this is what it's happening. And because of that, then we wouldn't add this all together. We would just look at 54 plus 74. Oh my gosh. Can I just get some space? Give me some room here. Okay, there we go. The whiteboard was not cooperating. So if we just do 54 of love plus the 74 of trauma, where we're trying to see how these are interacting with each other, we get 128, which we've seen somewhere. I think we saw this or a version of this. Oh, in Samson's numbers, because this is an 11 to a 2. So what this vibrational story, is this story of this juxtaposition between love and trauma and how they really are counterintuitive to each other. They repel each other, but they exist in the same space. So they both are part of the foundation and the sense of stability, whether positive or negative. And so they are like doing this weird thing where it's like back and forth, back and forth. But together, by looking at them together, we are able to begin to see what the division is, like what are the differences, what is the polarization between our definitions of love and our definitions of trauma. And how can we begin to pull them apart and see them separately, so then we can come up with a new way of them interacting and end this division. Because it's really, this division is not it's not between, like the way they're moving, it seems like it's between love and trauma, but it's actually not. It's a division within ourselves. And it's based off of how we are defining love, how we're defining trauma, and how both of these are contributing to both the positive and negative aspects of the foundation of who we are. And at the foundation of who we are, it shapes how we think, it shapes what actions we take, and it shapes our energetic exchanges with other people. So this is actually a very necessary lesson that we each have to learn for ourselves, of how are you defining love, and how has trauma contributed to how you define love, and what are these changes that you can make at the foundation. The foundation is the defining. So how can we redefine what love is by redefining trauma, so that they're not intertwined? Because right now they're intertwined, even though they are repelling each other. Like they don't work with each other well, but they exist in the same space. And they both are contributing to the foundation, the stability of who we are. And I'm hearing again, like, okay, for another day, because this is part of the conversation about what trauma bonds are. how they're created, but also how to begin to break them. And that's a lesson for another day. Okay. I had to listen and make sure I wasn't missing anything. But yeah. Okay. Thank you, Judy. Thank you for giving these numbers. Thank you, Rumple, for making sure we got them and for supporting Josh's mental break. We appreciate that. Well, I appreciate it. I'm sure everybody else does too. You're very welcome, Judy. Thank you for sharing. This was good. All right, we had a pretty good day. Are we ready to spin our wheel? I gotta get water first, though. All that laughing left me parched. Okay, spin the wheel. I think it's time to spin our wheel. So while I find space here and go find our wheel, I will repeat. So anybody that's listening in for the first time, but it also is a good reminder for us all that we spin the wheel every week at the end of our Saturday live so that we can get a random number or vibration. Um, However you want to think about it, they're the same thing. That we can look out for throughout the week. And again, this is just practice for us to start being able to recognize the vibrational messages that are coming through to us, but also to help us be aware of how outside vibrations and energy are impacting us, but also how we're impacting energy also outside of ourselves. So we have to get to a place of awareness so we can begin to move more intentionally with our use of vibration. So it's just good practice, basically. All right, here we go. We're going to spin the wheel. Ooh, very good. Okay. Now I gotta find. Let me find our screen again. Trying to get all fancy and stuff. Yeah, just kidding. This one's not fancy. I didn't do much fancy stuff today. Just fun to say. All right. So our vibration to look for this week is 803. This can be a time. So look for it as a time, but also just as a number. Yeah. In general. We do have another 11 going to a 2. This is a very loud um vibrational message right now. And it actually has been building over the last few years. So we need to keep looking for where do we see extremes, where do we see division, where can we clearly see dualism or polarity, and can we begin to think about what it would look like if those were ended, and not just ended where it's like you pick a side, um, because that actually maintains the division if you just pick a side. Truly ending the division or ending dualism in those spaces is finding like a new third option. Seeing what is working for you from both sides and making sure that you put those together to be able to contribute to this new middle path. What also is interesting is that 83 is the numeric vibration of the word wisdom. So us seeing these divisions and how to end it is coming from this vibration of wisdom, where we have this, and we saw this today too, where we have this zero, this God or universe energy here in the middle, where it's saying the growth is important, but that's not what you want to focus on. What you want to focus on and be most wise about is this repeating energy, these repeating cycles, this reap what you sow energy, this karma energy. That's what's being enhanced. That's what's being highlighted. So we can look for these vibrations in the form of the time, of the number itself, any of these three numbers, but also in the themes. And this theme is the one that you're most likely to see and to experience, because it is the loudest right now around there being divisions and needing to bring an end to those divisions. Okay, so we go out into the world for another week, and first full week of April, which is insane. I don't know how we got to April this quickly. But here we are. Thank you so much for being here. I will be live on Twitch on Wednesday. And then I'll be back here on Friday and on Saturday next week. So thank you so very much for being here. I greatly appreciate you all. And yeah, we'll see you next week. Thank you. Oh, you're very welcome. Bye, everybody. Thank you for being here. Oh, if you didn't hit the like on the way in, please hit it on the way out. I appreciate you. Thank you. Bye.